How many times did we warn you Democrats that your party was being taken over by the radical left? And you didn't listen because of your Trump derangement syndrome. You've also allowed your party to be taken over by Marxists, socialists, and communists. These people who hate everything about America. And now you're sitting back trying to figure out what happened.
Hi, Jumbo Juice. All that sounds great, by the way. But hey, I got a question for you, buddy. Are you so deeply untalented that you have to steal content word for word from other conservative content creators? Or are all the conservative content creators reading off of the same script? Because I couldn't help but notice, Jumbo Juice, that your corny-ass monologue that you just delivered there sounded exactly the same as another conservative cornballs monologue that I came across just a couple weeks ago. And I think you know where I'm going with this, don't you? Yeah, you getting nervous yet, buddy? Yeah, let's all take a look, shall we?
How many times did we warn you Democrats
that your party was being taken over by the radical left? And you didn't listen because of your Trump derangement syndrome. You've also allowed your party to be taken over by Marxists, socialists, and communists.
Socialists,
These people who
communists,
hate
people who absolutely hate everything about
and now
America.
you're sitting back trying to figure out what happened.
What happened is you didn't stand up for what was right and what you believed in. You allowed, because of your Trump derangement syndrome, these lunatics to come in and take over. And good luck.
So good luck trying to
wresting
wrestle
power back from these people. It's not going to happen.
So what's going on here, Jumbo Juice? Are conservatives just total sheep and none of you have an original thought, so you guys all just say the same shit? Or are you guys actually reading off of the same script? Can you let us know which one it is? Because the new Communist Party of America would like to know. So get back to us when you can, okay, Jumbo? All right, thanks.
We have major points of agreement. They want to make a deal. And we are very willing to make a deal.
Well, I think we're going to end it. I can't tell you for sure, but they want to make a deal so badly. You have no idea how badly they want to make a deal.
They want to make a deal so badly. I do see a deal in Iran. We were very close to a deal.
I think it's close to over, yeah. I mean, I view it as very close to over.
It's looking very good that we're going to make a deal with Iran, and it's going to be a good deal. This process should go very quickly. We're going to end that war very quickly. They want to make a deal so badly. We think we're close to a deal, and that's okay. We're in the final throes of what will be a very, very good deal.
We haven't felt like ourselves in a while. And I'm sorry to get political, but I'm just going to be honest. We haven't felt like ourselves since Barack Obama. I just think he was such a slick snake. You know, he was this affable guy who was like wearing good suits and looked the part and sounded the part and dressed the part, but was so divisive in his messaging.
Please. He was not divisive. What was so divisive about Barack Obama being in office is that you can't handle it, because the Republican playbook is always to pick on the marginalized. The default setting of it is always to oppress. And for her to say, I'm not trying to get political, would be like me starting off this podcast by saying, hey guys, I'm not trying to get political. Put a sock in it. That is so crazy. And this takes me back to a quote that Trump had yesterday at Bedminster. Smart people don't like me. Right. So, I mean, this is, you know, this is the way it goes. But I want to play this for you guys in pumps. This is a black pastor. Now, I'm an atheist. I'm not a Christian. But every time I hear black pastors talk, I like what they say 1,000,000 times better than what these hateful Christian nationalist, white, hellfire damnation pastors say. And so here's a black pastor that is fighting back. And this is just good for the soul. Play the clip.
Charlie Kirk did not deserve to be assassinated. But I'm overwhelmed seeing the flags of the United States of America at half-staff, calling this nation to honor and venerate a man who was an unapologetic racist and spent all of his life sowing seeds of division and hate into this land. And hearing people with selective rage who were mad about Charlie Kirk but didn't give a damn about Melissa Hortman and her husband when they were shot down in their home, tell me I ought to have compassion for the death of a man who had no respect for my own life. I am sorry, but there's nowhere in Bible where we are taught to honor evil. And how you die does not redeem how you lived. You do not become a hero in your death when you are a weapon of the enemy in your life. I can abhor the violence that took your life, but I don't have to celebrate how you chose to live.
This is a moment, you guys. This is a real moment for all of the white Americans in this world that stood with the civil rights movement in the 60s and marched with these people and were allies for civil liberties, for justice, for equality. And this is a moment for Americans to stand.
Good fucking God. People really Conservative Trump supporters, do you know how stupid you sound?
Ridiculous. We're the only country in the world that does this with birthright, as you know.
As you know, the stupidest person ever to have a speaking role in the Oval Office actually believed he could use one of his Sharpies to cross out the words of the United States Constitution. Donald Trump's brand of stupidity comes delivered gift-wrapped in pride. He is that student who is so very proud to show his homework when he is completely wrong. He said that day something he said many, many times before and many times since, quote, "We're the only country in the world that does this with birthright, as you know," end quote. No, we don't know, Donald. There are dozens of other countries in the world that grant birthright citizenship. Donald Trump's voters would, of course, both share in and pardon his stupidity on this point, on the assumption that the other countries that grant birthright citizenship are those obscure little places with names Donald Trump can't pronounce or spell. How far would Donald Trump have to look to find a country that grants birthright citizenship? Well, there's Canada. Donald Trump grew up in a state bordering Canada, although I suspect he doesn't realize that. Another country we know Donald Trump has heard of that has birthright citizenship is Mexico. Everything Donald Trump has ever said about birthright citizenship is a lie, meant for people and believed by people who read even less than he does and then vote for him.
The Democrats were the ones that were for slavery. The Democrats were the ones that came up the Jim Crow stuff.
Even if all of that were true about slavery, which party flies the Confederate flag today?
A lot of the Democrats.
You really think Democrats fly the Confederate flag more than
Democrats that, yes.
Overwhelmingly, you'll see a Confederate flag right next to a Trump flag. That's just how it works nowadays.
No, I haven't seen that overwhelmingly.
You really? You think, was it Democrats or Republicans trying to take down Confederate statues?
Confederate statues?
Which party was trying to take down Confederate statues?
What's the statue got to do with?
You're saying that Democrats are pro-Confederate, but weren't Democrats trying to remove Confederate statues?
Why are they doing that?
Because they're anti-Confederate.
No, they're not.
Why are they trying to remove the statues then?
Because they're trying to change the history of our country. You know what? Take your camera and go interview all these black people that are here, okay?
Yeah.
And you ask them.
The three black people that are here?
If you ask them.
You know what the damn words mean and how they work and are applied in this country, because socialism, for those, to your very important point, who like to throw that about, farm bills are socialism, right? Anytime we redistribute the wealth to help someone. Food stamps. How many Republicans out there on food stamps? How many of you? How many get a check each month from the government? Right? Socialism. So to your point, you're now shifting to communism because, oh, Red Scare, ooh, you know. But who's buddy with all the big name communists in the world? That would be Donald Trump, right? So please, can we just park that crap on the side of the road somewhere, get out, get a new car, try something else, because it ain't going to help you in November, baby. That issue's passed. You are toast. And you're now worried about the United States Senate. That's why all the narrative changes, because the House is done. So you're trying to scare people to believe in communism? Seriously, how stupid do you think the American people are? Communism, wealth is distributed based on need. The only person who's in need in this government who's getting wealthy is Donald Trump. That's the communism right there. I mean,
kids would call a read, ladies and gentlemen. That's a read.
Can we stop this? Can we just grow the hell up for once in this country?
Why do poor white people keep voting to hurt themselves? The answer is more disturbing than you think. W.E.B. Du Bois called it the psychological wage of whiteness. Poor white folks get told they're better than black people, immigrants, LGBTQ folks. They're taught that minorities are the real threat to their lives, not corporations or politicians, not the people cutting their health care, not the ones slashing their wages. It's immigrants, welfare recipients, the usual scapegoats. Poor whites vote for policies that hurt everyone, including themselves, just to see minorities punished. Public housing gets cut. School funding disappears. Food assistance vanishes. But they think, good, that'll stop those freeloaders. They'll take the hit as long as black and brown people get hurt worse. When those same policies destroy their own communities, they blame Democrats or immigrants, never the politicians they voted for.
President Trump is appointing Darren Beatty. A few months ago, he posted this, Congresswoman. Competent white men must be in charge if you want things to work.
We right now have a white supremacist that is sitting in the White House. He is backed up by other white supremacists. And if you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists. Yet for whatever reason, they sit and they serve at at the pleasure of the president. They are the ones that were there on January 6th, tearing our democracy down physically. And now we have them tearing us down right here from within.